Today on BRS TV, we have week 1 of the BRS 160 52 weeks of reefing. Hi, I'm Ryan, your host of BRS TV, where each week we cover a new topic related to reefing. This week we have our very first episode of a year-long series where we set up a 6-foot, 160-gallon reef tank. We're going to cover basically everything imaginable that goes along with setting up and maintaining a reef tank. We'll dive into the necessities and basics of reefing, but also cover basically every optional piece of gear you could think of, as well as the science and methodology behind the equipment, because many of us don't want to know just what to do, but why we're doing it as well. You're going to see how we selected our tank, what type of stand we used, and where we got them, what a sump is for, the different options, and who we selected to make one for us, all kinds of plumbing options, electrical needs, and how to produce water for the tank. Once it's set up, we're going to talk about all the sand and rock options, curing, aquascaping, cycling the rock, followed with proper water flow and maintaining consistent temperature. Behind that, we'll hit on some aspects related to UV sterilizers, adding our first fish, dealing with evaporation long-term, protein skimmers, full installation of metal halide T5 and LED lighting, followed with adding our second batch of fish. At this point, we're going to cover all types of filtration, including chemical, mechanical, organic, refugiums, ozone, and then add our last batch of fish with a serious discussion on proper feeding techniques. After that, it'll be time to add our first corals with some softies and polyps, and then a serious deep dive into really understanding calcium, alkalinity, and all the different methods of maintaining these parameters properly. Once we have our calcium and alkalinity solution set up, we can start adding our LPS and SPS corals, cover proper testing methods, coral feeding, trace elements, live foods, and what a solid water change schedule looks like, as well as how to make it easier so you actually do it. Once everything is set up, we're going to show you how to install and properly set up an aquarium controller on this system with a complete step-by-step of all the programming and wiring. And then wrap this all up with what proper ongoing maintenance looks like, dealing with algae and common pests, illnesses in the tank, how to deal with common emergencies, and then finally, what to do when you need to move this tank or upgrade to a bigger one. This is going to be our best series ever, so hit that subscribe button, and if you have any reefing buddies or friends interested in starting a reef tank, share it with them, because this is going to be the most complete guide to reefing yet, and I think going to be really fun to produce and watch. See you next week with the next episode of the BRS 160.